Billionaire pretends to be injured. Only one woman stopped to help. The wind pushed dust along the quiet morning street, carrying the smell of rain that hadn't yet fallen. Cars passed fast, their engines loud, their drivers focused on their own worlds. In the middle of that busy road, a man lay on the ground beside a black luxury car, holding his side and groaning in pain. People slowed down, looked for a second, then kept walking. No one wanted trouble. No one wanted to get involved. But someone did. Her name was Mia. She stood at the edge of the sidewalk holding two torn grocery bags pressed to her chest. Her brown hair was messy from the wind. Her shoes were old and thin. She looked tired, maybe even hungry. But when she saw the man lying there, she stopped moving. Just stop for a moment and imagine this. What would you do if you saw someone like him on the street? Would you walk past too? Mia swallowed, unsure. Her heart beat faster. She glanced around, hoping someone stronger, richer, or more confident would step in. But everyone else just pretended not to see. The man on the ground let out a low sound, almost a whisper. "Help! Please!" That was enough. "Oh God, sir! Are you hurt?" Mia dropped her bags, letting apples roll across the pavement. She rushed to him, kneeling beside his arm. His suit looked expensive. His watch looked like something she would never be able to buy, even if she saved for 5 years. But right now, none of that mattered. "I don't know," he said, closing his eyes tightly. "I think something's broken." Mia looked up at the cars rushing past. "We need to get you off the road. Can you move your leg?" He didn't answer. His jaw tightened and his breath came out shaky. Mia bit her lip. She wasn't strong. She wasn't trained. She was just a girl trying to survive each day. But she couldn't leave him like that. "Okay," she said softly. "I'm going to try. Hold on to me." She slid her hands under his arm, trying to lift him. He was heavy, much heavier than she expected, and for a moment her knees shook. But she pushed through, guiding him toward the curb. A few cars honked. One driver rolled down his window to shout, "Hey, don't block the road," then sped off. Mia ignored it. Her whole focus was on keeping the man steady until he was safely sitting against a street lamp. Sweat touched her forehead. "Thank you," he whispered, eyes half open. "You need an ambulance," she said. Her voice trembled. "Just hang on. I'll call." "No, don't." His eyes opened wider now, sharp but wet with pain. "Please, just wait." Mia frowned. "But you're hurt. You need help." "Please," he repeated, almost begging. "Just stay here a moment. Don't leave." Mia hesitated. There was something strange about this. Why didn't he want an ambulance? Why ask her to stay when he didn't know her? Still, she nodded gently. "Okay, I won't go anywhere." As she sat beside him on the cold pavement, people walked around them, stepping over her fallen groceries. Not one person stopped to ask if they needed help. "Do you live far from here?" she asked quietly, trying to keep him awake. But he didn't answer this time. Instead, he looked at her with a soft, searching expression that made her chest tighten for reasons she couldn't explain. The wind grew stronger. A dark cloud moved over the sun. Something about this moment didn't feel simple. It didn't feel like an accident. It felt like the beginning of something bigger, something she didn't understand yet. And then she heard him whisper a name, one she had never heard before. He spoke it as if it hurt, as if it meant everything. Mia leaned closer. "What did you say?" Before he could respond, a sudden sound echoed from across the street, a voice calling his name loudly and urgently. Mia turned her head toward the noise, her heartbeat jumping. Someone was coming toward them fast, and the look in that person's eyes made her stomach twist. She didn't know it yet, but her life was about to change forever. The man's name echoed again from across the street. Mr. Hale, a tall man in a gray suit, ran toward them, dodging cars with a terrified look on his face. He reached the sidewalk, out of breath, eyes wide as he looked from the man on the ground to Mia. "Oh my God, sir, what happened?" he asked, kneeling. "I," slipped the injured man, muttered weakly. Calm down, Ethan. Ethan, the man in the gray suit, turned to Mia. Did you see it happen? Mia shook her head. No, I just saw him lying there. No one else stopped. So She glanced at her broken grocery bag and the bruises starting on her knees. I just tried to help. Thank you, Ethan said quickly. He sounded worried but also relieved. You can go now. We'll handle it from here. Mia looked at the man she had helped. His eyes were half open, watching her with a strange, deep look. She felt he wanted to say something, but Ethan was already taking out his phone, speaking fast about calling a doctor, a driver, someone important. She stood up slowly, legs stiff. I hope you're okay, she said softly to the man. His lips moved. What's up? Your name, Mia, she answered. His gaze stayed on her face for a long second, as if trying to memorize it. Then his eyes closed again. Ethan followed her name with his eyes too, like he wrote it down in his mind. But he didn't say anything more. He just nodded quickly and turned back to his boss. Mia picked up what was left of her groceries, 2 apples and 1 crushed tomato, and a bag of rice with a hole in it. Her hands shook. She turned and walked away, feeling like she had just stepped out of someone else's life. By the time she reached her neighborhood, the sky had turned gray. She lived in a building that looked tired. Paint peeled from the walls. The hallway light flickered. The stairs were cracked in the middle. Children played barefoot near the entrance, kicking a flat ball. Upstairs, someone argued loudly in another language. It smelled like fried oil, damp clothes, and old dust. Mia climbed to the 4th floor, her body heavy. At the top, a narrow corridor led to a small room with a thin brown door. She pushed it open, gently. Mom, I'm back, she called. Her mother lay on a thin mattress on the floor, a faded blanket over her legs. She was not old, but sickness had made her look older than she was. Her cheeks were hollow. A soft scarf covered her hair. She smiled when she saw Mia, a tired but warm smile. You took a long time, Anak, her mother said. Bus was late. There was something on the way, Mia replied. She put the groceries on the little wooden table. How are you feeling? Same, her mother said quietly. The pain is not too bad today. The medicine helped. Mia pressed her lips together. The medicine she had bought 2 days ago had been expensive. Too expensive. She tried not to think about how little money was left in her purse. A small figure peeked out from behind a curtain that divided the room. It was her younger brother Leo, 12 years old with big dark eyes and messy hair. Did you get eggs, Mia? He asked. Mia opened the bag and felt her heart sink. I'm sorry, I dropped some things on the way. We'll make rice with tomato and a little salt. Okay. Tomorrow I'll try to get eggs. Leo's face fell for a second, but he quickly smiled again. It's okay. I like rice. He didn't, but he would never say that. Mia washed the rice in a plastic bowl, her fingers moving on their own. The tap water was weak. She had to wait for it to fill the pot slowly. As she cooked, her mind went back to the street, to the man in the expensive suit lying helpless on the ground. She had never touched a person who wore clothes like that. Mia, her mother's voice, broke her thoughts. You're quiet. Did something bad happen? Mia stirred the pot. No, just a man fell near the market. He looked rich. No one wanted to help him. I pulled him off the road. Leo's eyes widened, like a movie. She gave a small smile. Something like that. Someone came to help after. He'll be fine. Did he say thank you? Leo asked. Yes, Mia said, remembering the way he looked at her. He did. When the rice was ready, she served 3 small plates. She made sure her mother's plate was a bit fuller and pushed more tomato pieces toward her. Her own portion was the smallest. After they ate, Mia washed the dishes in a plastic basin. The water turned cloudy. Outside, the sky finally opened and rain began to fall, hitting the metal roofs loudly. Her mother watched her. You're tired, she said. I'm okay, Mia answered. You worked the night shift at the hotel, her mother reminded her. Then you went to the market, and later you'll go to the diner again. You need rest, Anak. Mia dried her hands on her clothes. We need rent, Mama. And your medicine. I can rest later. Rent was due in 5 days. They were already 2 weeks late. The landlord had knocked on their door that morning, speaking in a low warning voice. End of the week, Mia, he had said. No more excuses. I like you and your family, but I have my own bills. Understand? She had nodded, shame burning in her chest. If she didn't pay, they would have to leave. But where would they go? The street, a shelter. She couldn't let that happen. Leo came to sit beside her. I can work too. My friend sells flowers at the traffic light. I can help him after school, he said. No, Mia said firmly. You stay in school. That's your job. But no, Leo. Her eyes softened. You're going to have a better life than this. Promise me. He looked at her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Later, Mia changed into her diner uniform, a white shirt that had lost its brightness and black pants that were a bit too big. She tied her hair back with a worn elastic band. She kissed her mother's forehead. I'll be back late. Call me if you need something, okay? We'll be fine, her mother said. Ask if they have extra soup at the diner. Maybe you can bring some home. I will. As she stepped into the hallway, their neighbor Auntie Rosa opened her door. She was a round woman with quick eyes and kind hands that always smelled like soap. Going to work again, child, she asked. Yes, Auntie, Mia replied. Rosa clicked her tongue. You work too much. If your mother needs anything, I'll check on her. I made some ginger tea. I'll bring her a cup. Mia smiled with real gratitude. Thank you. You're always so kind. You too, Rosa said, touching her arm. You have a good heart. God sees that. On the bus to the diner, Mia held onto the metal bar as the driver took sharp turns. Her stomach was half empty, but her heart was full of worry and small hopes mixed together. Maybe she could ask for extra hours. Maybe the manager would agree. Maybe this month they wouldn't be thrown out. The bus stopped at a red light. Through the window, she saw another world-tall glass buildings, shiny cars, people in clean clothes holding coffee cups and phones. She wondered what it felt like to live up there behind those glass windows. The image of the man on the road came back to her. His watch, his shoes, his eyes when he asked for her name. Mia shook her head as if pushing away a dream. That man belonged to that world. She belonged to this one. At the diner, she worked like she always did. She wiped tables, carried heavy trays, smiled at rude customers, and said, "Thank you, please. Come again," even when her feet hurt so much she wanted to cry. When a homeless man came in and stared at the leftovers on someone's plate, she quietly packed a small box of fries and gave it to him outside, pretending it was food the kitchen had to throw away. "Thank you, miss," he said, his voice rough. Mia smiled. "Eat while it's still warm." Hours passed. The sky turned dark. The city lights shone. At closing time, Mia helped stack chairs. The manager shook his head when she asked about extra shifts. "Business is slow," he said. "Maybe next month, Mia." "I'm sorry." "It's okay," she replied, but her heart sank deeper. She left the diner close to midnight. The streets were quieter now, wet from the earlier rain, reflecting the lights in long broken lines. She walked toward the bus stop, thinking about the landlord, the medicine, the rent she did not have. When she reached the corner, she stopped. A black car was parked by the curb. Not just any black car. It was long and elegant with tinted windows and a driver standing outside holding an umbrella. The driver looked around, then his eyes landed on her. "Mia," he called. She froze. No one here knew her name. "Yes," she said carefully. He stepped closer, the umbrella covering both of them now. His suit was dry and neat even in the damp night. "My name is Ethan," he said. "I work for Mr. Hale, the man you helped today." Mia's heart skipped a beat. "He would like to see you," Ethan continued. "If you don't mind, could you come with me now?" The rain began again, light but cold on her neck. The world around her seemed to fall away for a moment. This was the doorway between her small, hard life and whatever waited on the other side. She looked at the car, then at Ethan's serious face, and slowly, with her heart pounding, she nodded. Ethan opened the door of the black car and Mia stepped inside slowly. The seat was soft, too soft. She felt like she might sink into it. The air smelled clean, like leather, and something expensive she couldn't name. Her fingers tightened around the strap of her worn bag. As the car started moving, Mia stared out the window. The city lights passed like small stars. She saw tall buildings she had never been close to before, places she only knew from stories other people told. She felt like she didn't belong here, like she was sitting in someone else's dream. "Is Mr. Hale okay?" she finally asked. Ethan nodded. "He will be. He wasn't seriously injured." "Then why does he want to see me?" Ethan hesitated for a second. He didn't explain, but he was very clear that he wanted to meet you tonight. Mia looked down at her hands. Her nails were short and uneven from dishwashing. She tried to hide them in her sleeves. The car drove deeper into the city until they reached a part she had never visited. Everything was brighter, cleaner, quieter. It felt like another world. The buildings here rose like glass mountains. The sidewalks were wide and empty. Security guards stood in front of fancy entrances. The car slowed and turned into a driveway, lit by warm golden lights. A large modern house appeared, more glass than walls, with a garden that looked like a small park. Water flowed from a fountain in perfect silence. Mia felt her breath catch. She had never seen a place like this except on TV. When the car stopped, Ethan stepped out first and opened her door. "This way," he said kindly. Mia followed him up the stone path. Her shoes felt too loud, too cheap, too out of place on the clean ground. Her heart beat fast. She wondered again if she was making a mistake. What if this was dangerous? What if she shouldn't be here? But something deep inside told her the man she helped wasn't dangerous. There had been sadness in his eyes, not cruelty. Inside the house, the air was warm and soft with quiet music, classical gentle notes floating like whispers. The floor was shiny marble. Big paintings hung on the walls, each one looking more expensive than her whole life. Ethan led her to a room with huge windows overlooking the city. A fireplace glowed on the side, filling the space with golden light. And there he was, Mr. Hale. He sat on a long sofa wearing a clean shirt and soft black pants now. One foot was bandaged, resting on a cushion. His hair was slightly messy, as if he had been running his hands through it, but his eyes, those sharp, tired eyes, lifted the moment she walked in. "Mia," he said quietly. She swallowed. "Hi, sir. I hope you're feeling better." Ethan left the room quietly, leaving them alone. Mr. Hale gestured to the seat across from him. "Please, sit." Mia sat slowly, her back straight. She didn't know where to put her hands. She folded them in her lap. He watched her for a long moment, as if looking at something rare. "You saved me today. I only helped you off the road," she said. "I didn't do much." "That is not true," he answered. "You were the only one who stopped." Mia looked at the floor. "Anyone would have helped." "No," he said softly. "People walked around me like I was invisible. You didn't." She didn't know what to say. Her throat felt tight. He cleared his throat. "My name is Adrian Hale." It was a name she had heard before, on the news, on posters, in business stories. A billionaire, a powerful one. But sitting there with a bandaged foot and tired eyes, he didn't look powerful. He looked human. "I wanted to thank you personally," he said. "I also owe you an apology." "Apology?" Mia asked, confused. He ran his hand through his hair. "I shouldn't have been on that street alone. I wasn't thinking clearly." "Were you sick?" Mia asked gently. He gave a small, sad laugh. "No, just distracted." She waited. Something in his voice felt heavy, deeper than simple carelessness. But she didn't push. He looked at her again slowly, like her face meant something to him. When you helped me, it reminded me of someone." Mia blinked. "Someone you know," he nodded, his voice lowered. "My sister. She used to help strangers. She had the same look in her eyes that you have. Mia felt warmth rise in her cheeks. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to remind you of anything painful. It's not your fault, he replied softly. It's been a long time since anyone looked at me with kindness instead of fear or interest in my money. She hesitated. I didn't know who you were. I know, he said. That's why it mattered. For a moment the room felt quiet in a deep, meaningful way. Adrian stood up slowly, wincing at the pain in his foot. May I ask you something, Mia? Yes. Why did you stop? You didn't know me. You could have just walked away. Mia took a breath. Because you needed help, and no one else was helping you. That's all. Her words were simple, but they seemed to hit him hard. You have no idea how rare that is, he said. Mia felt uncomfortable suddenly. She wasn't used to anyone looking at her with respect, let alone a man like him. I should go, she said quietly. I have to work early tomorrow. You work at night, he asked, surprised. She nodded. And mornings. And afternoons sometimes. He frowned. That's too much. She gave a small, tired smile. It's life. For a moment he seemed to be thinking deeply, as if searching for the right words. Mia, would you let me help you? Her heart stopped for a second. Help me. Why, because you helped me, he said simply. And because someone with a heart like yours shouldn't struggle alone. Mia felt panic rise. I can't accept things like that. I don't want charity. It's not charity, Adrian said firmly. It's gratitude. She shook her head. People like me don't belong in places like this, sir. I don't even know why I'm here. You're here, he said gently, because you're the only person today who remembered I'm human. She didn't know what to say. Her throat was tight again, and her eyes stung a little. Adrian stepped closer, careful with his injured foot. Let me do one small thing for you. Just one. Mia hesitated. She thought of her mother's medicine, her brother's shoes full of holes, the landlord's warning. Just one small thing, she whispered. Nothing more. Nothing more unless you ask, he promised. Mia nodded slowly. He gave a faint smile, the first real smile she had seen on him. Good, he said softly. Then tomorrow, our paths will cross properly. She frowned. What do you mean? He didn't answer. Instead, he looked out the window at the dark city and said quietly, almost to himself, Your life is about to change, Mia. You just don't know how much yet. And with that, the night closed around them, full of things neither of them could see coming. Mia barely slept. When she finally left Adrian Hale's house that night, the rain had turned into a soft drizzle, and her mind was full of questions she could not answer. Ethan drove her back to her neighborhood, and before she stepped out, he handed her a small card. Mr. Hale said to call if anything happens, he told her. Mia nodded, though she didn't think she would ever use it. She walked upstairs quietly, trying not to wake her mother and Leo. She lay down on the thin mattress beside them, staring at the cracked ceiling. Everything felt unreal. Why would a billionaire care about her? Why would he say her life was about to change? He didn't know her problems. He didn't know anything about her world, but still, he said it with such certainty. Morning came too fast. Mia rose before sunrise, washed her face, braided her hair, and walked to her cleaning job in a small motel. The hallway smelled like bleach and wet carpets. She scrubbed floors, changed sheets, and wiped mirrors until her hands stung. But her mind wasn't on the work. It was on the man lying in the road the day before. She didn't understand why he had been there or why he refused the ambulance. There was something hidden behind his eyes, grief, maybe fear, maybe loneliness. Just before noon, her phone vibrated. She rarely got calls, only her mother and the landlord knew her number. She wiped her hands on her apron and looked at the screen. Unknown number. Her heart jumped. She answered quietly. Hello. A calm voice replied. Mia, it's Ethan. Her mouth dried. Yes, hi. Mr. Hale asked if you could come to his office today. He said it is very important. His office, she whispered. I, I'm working. Please, Ethan said gently. He insisted. He said it concerns your safety. Mia froze. My safety? Yes. Her mind spun fast. The landlord, her mother's health. Something worse, I'll come, she said immediately. Good. A car is on the way. She hung up and rushed to the manager. Can I leave early? It's an emergency, Mia said breathlessly. The manager frowned but nodded. Go. Just come on time tomorrow. Mia grabbed her bag, heart beating fast, and ran outside. A black car was already waiting. She slid inside, nerves twisting her stomach. When she reached Adrian's office building, she felt even smaller. The glass tower rose high into the clouds. People in perfect suits walked inside confidently. Mia kept her head down. Ethan met her at the entrance and guided her to a private elevator. He's waiting in the top floor conference room, Ethan said. When the doors opened, she stepped into a large, bright room with long windows overlooking the whole city. The sky looked clear from there, calm, far from the dust of her neighborhood. Adrian stood near the window, hands in his pockets. His bandaged foot rested on a stool. He looked tired but focused. When he saw her, he straightened. Mia, he said softly, thank you for coming. She nodded nervously. You said safety. Did something happen? He walked closer, slow and careful. Yesterday, I did not fall by accident. Mia felt her breath stop. He took another step. Someone pushed me. She covered her mouth with her hand. Oh my God, are you okay? Who? Why? He hesitated, eyes darkening. Someone close to me wants access to something they shouldn't have. I was supposed to be in a meeting yesterday. If I didn't show up injured, it would have caused problems. Mia tried to understand. You mean someone hurt you on purpose to make it look like an accident? He nodded. And I was the only one who helped, she whispered. Yes. Adrian's voice softened. You risked yourself without knowing who I was. That means something to me. Mia looked away, unsure what to say. Her hands trembled. He took a slow breath. I need to ask you something important, and I promise it's not dangerous. She looked up. I need your help, he said simply. Not with money, not with anything illegal. I need someone I can trust to help me protect something. Someone. Her heart raced. Someone. He nodded and walked to the door behind him, opening it slowly. Mia, this is Lily. A small girl stepped out, maybe 8 or 9 years old, with dark curls and shy eyes. She held a stuffed bear, missing one eye. She stayed half hidden behind Adrian's leg. Mia blinked. Hello. Lily, Lily whispered. Hi. She's my daughter, Adrian said quietly. And she doesn't talk to anyone except me. Not since her mother passed away 2 years ago. Mia looked at the girl gently. I'm sorry, Adrian continued, his voice low. Lily saw what happened yesterday. She's scared, and she hasn't had anyone to trust for a very long time. Mia swallowed hard. She understood fear. She understood losing trust. She asked about you, Adrian added softly. She asked, where is the lady who helped you? Mia's eyes softened immediately. She did. Lily peeked at Mia again, then stepped one small step closer. Adrian sat down slowly and looked at Mia with serious eyes. I want to ask you to stay with us for a while. Not as a maid, not as a servant, as someone who can be there for Lily. She chose you. Mia shook her head, slightly overwhelmed. Sir, I have my job. My mother. My brother, I know, Adrian said gently. Let me help your family. Let me give your mother proper care. Pay your rent, give Leo school support. In return, I want you to help Lily feel safe again. Mia stared at him. Her family, their future, their safety, a better chance. Her voice broke. Why me? Because you're kind, he said. Because you stopped when everyone else walked away. Because Lily trusts you, and because He hesitated, the truth heavy on his tongue. Because I trust you too. Mia wiped her eyes quickly, embarrassed. Lily stepped forward, holding out her small hand. Will you stay with us? The girl whispered. Mia looked into her frightened eyes, and she knew the answer before she spoke. Yes, she said softly, taking Lily's hand. I'll stay. Adrian's shoulders relaxed with visible relief. Thank you, Mia. You've just changed everything. He didn't know it yet, but she had changed more than he imagined, and her own life had just taken the first step into a world she never thought she'd touch. Mia moved into Adrian's home 2 days later, though home didn't feel like the right word to her at first. It was too big, too bright, too silent. The floors shined like mirrors. Every room looked like a magazine picture. Even the air smelled soft, clean, like fresh laundry and flowers. She arrived with only one small bag, 2 shirts, a sweater, worn jeans, and the same shoes she'd been wearing for years. Ethan carried the bag even though Mia said she could handle it. Mr. Hale asked me to, he said. Don't worry, you'll get used to this place. I'm not sure I should, Mia whispered as she stepped inside. Lily stood at the top of the stairs, hugging her stuffed bear. Her curls were tied with a ribbon, and she wore a bright blue dress that made her look like a small flower in the middle of all that white marble. Mia, she said softly. Mia smiled. Hi, Lily. The girl ran down the stairs quietly, almost floating, and wrapped her arms tightly around Mia's waist. The hug surprised her. It was warm, trusting. Mia felt her throat tighten. Adrian watched from the hallway, leaning on his cane. His foot wasn't healed yet, but he moved better now. She's been waiting since morning, he said. Lily pulled back and grabbed Mia's hand. Come, I show you my room. Okay, Mia said gently. Lily led her upstairs, her small fingers gripping tight as if afraid Mia might disappear. Adrian followed slowly with his cane staying a few steps behind. Lily's room was huge, bigger than the entire apartment Mia shared with her mother and Leo. There were shelves filled with books, a window seat with big pillows, and a soft pink rug shaped like a star. Mia looked around amazed. This is beautiful. Lily nodded shyly. I like reading here, she said, pointing at the window. But I don't like when the house is too quiet. Mia knelt down to her level. I can sit with you whenever you want. Lily smiled, small but real. Adrian cleared his throat gently. Mia, there's something else. She stood up, suddenly nervous. Yes. He motioned for her to follow him. They walked down the hall to another room. When he opened the door, Mia froze. Inside was a simple, warm-looking guest room, soft bed, wooden dresser, a small desk, and sunlight coming through a window. This is for you, Adrian said softly. Mia shook her head. Sir, I can't. I don't belong in a room like this. Adrian stepped forward. Mia, you're here because you're helping my daughter. You deserve to be comfortable and safe. She blinked back, sudden tears. It's too much. It's the least I can do, he replied. She touched the blanket with her fingertips. It felt like touching clouds. Her phone buzzed suddenly. It was Leo. Mia answered fast. Are you okay? His cheerful voice came through. Mia, someone brought food to us, like real food, chicken and rice and fruit. Who sent it? The lady said she can come every day. Mia's eyes widened. Leo, slow down. Who? Her mother's soft voice came next. They said Mr. Hale sent a nurse. She checked my breathing, my medicine, everything. Mia, what's happening? Mia looked at Adrian. He wasn't smiling, but his expression was gentle. I'll explain when I visit tonight, Mia said into the phone. Just don't worry, everything is okay. She hung up slowly. You didn't have to do all that, she whispered. I did, he said. You're helping my daughter. Let me help your family. Mia's voice cracked. Thank you. Adrian looked away, almost uncomfortable with her gratitude. It's practical, Mia. You can't help Lily if you're worried about rent or medicine every second. She knew he was trying to sound professional, but the softness in his eyes ruined the act. That afternoon, Mia began her new routine. Every morning she had breakfast with Lily in the sunlit kitchen. The little girl always sat close, eating slowly, watching Mia with curious eyes. Lily asked one morning, "Can you braid my hair, of course?" Lily hopped onto a chair and Mia gently combed through her curls. The girl relaxed under her touch as if it made her feel safe. Adrian entered the kitchen halfway through, holding a cup of coffee and watching them quietly. "You're good with her," he said. Mia shrugged lightly. "She's easy to love." Lily turned and smiled, cheeks pink. Adrian looked down at his cup, hiding a smile of his own. Mia's days filled with small, simple tasks meant to build trust with Lily. Reading stories, drawing together, helping her with homework, walking with her in the garden, talking softly when the girl woke from nightmares. Sometimes Adrian joined them slowly at first, like a man unsure if he was welcome. He would sit on the grass with his cane beside him, watching Mia and Lily pick flowers. "You should rest," Mia said once. "I rest too much," he replied. "She laughs more when you're here. I want to be part of that." And he did. He slowly let himself be pulled into Lily's world, games, drawings, quiet conversations at night, and Mia was always beside them, steady and gentle. One evening, as the sun set behind the tall city buildings, Lily fell asleep on Mia's shoulder during story time. Mia carried her to her bed and tucked her in. When she stepped out of the room, she found Adrian standing in the hallway watching. "She's sleeping," Mia whispered. He nodded slowly. "She trusts you." His eyes softened. "Mia, thank you." "For what?" "For giving my daughter something money never could." She lowered her gaze, blush warming her cheeks. "I'm just doing my best." That's all she ever needed. A quiet moment passed between them, warm, delicate, almost fragile. Mia felt something shift in her chest. Adrian looked away first, as if the moment frightened him. The bond between them grew, not fast, not dramatic, but quietly, like sunlight slipping through curtains. Small conversations, soft smiles, shared worry, shared relief, a gentle understanding. But not everyone liked the change. One afternoon, while Mia was helping Lily draw at the big dining table, a woman entered through the main door. Her high heels clicked loudly on the marble floor. She wore a sharp black suit and carried a briefcase. She looked at Mia with cold, sharp eyes. "Who are you?" the woman demanded. Mia stood slowly. "I'm helping with—" "I know who you are," the woman snapped. "The girl who showed up out of nowhere." Lily's hand gripped Mia's sleeve. "Aunt Clara," she whispered, trembling. Clara, Adrian's business partner, family friend, and someone whose eyes were now full of suspicion. Clara stepped closer. "I hope you're not planning to stay long," she said softly, her tone dangerous. "People like you always want something." Mia felt something cold settle in her stomach. Lily pressed herself closer to her, and Adrian's voice suddenly broke the tension. "Clara, that's enough." They turned. He stood in the doorway, leaning slightly on his cane. Clara crossed her arms. "You're letting this girl into your home, into Lily's life. We know nothing about her." Adrian stepped forward. "I know everything I need to." Clara's eyes narrowed at Mia. "We'll see." She walked away, her heels echoing down the hall. Lily hugged Mia tight, frightened. Adrian's face hardened. "I'm sorry," he said. "Clara can be harsh." Mia forced a small smile. "It's okay." But deep inside, she knew Clara was only the beginning. Something dark was growing behind the walls of that beautiful house. And soon someone would try to tear down everything Mia had built, piece by piece, and lie by lie. The next morning, the house felt colder, even though sunlight filled the halls. Mia woke early in her small room and dressed quietly. She wanted to check on Lily before anyone else woke, but the memory of Clara's sharp words from yesterday stayed in her mind like a thorn. Clara had looked at her like she was a stain on the floor, and Mia knew that kind of look. She had seen it all her life. When she stepped out into the hallway, she found Lily sitting on the floor, hugging her stuffed bear tightly. Lily, Mia whispered, "Sweetheart, why are you awake?" Lily looked up with big afraid eyes. "I dreamed Aunt Clara took you away." Mia knelt and pulled her close. "I'm not going anywhere." But she was angry. Mia stroked the girl's hair. "Adults get angry sometimes, but it doesn't mean they can take me away. Your father won't let anything bad happen." A soft voice came from behind them. "He won't." Mia turned and saw Adrian Hale leaning against his cane in the corridor. His face looked tense like he hadn't slept much. He walked closer. "Lily, sweetheart, Aunt Clara has no right to take anyone away," he said gently. "She can't decide who stays in this house." Lily nodded slowly and clung tighter to Mia. Adrian's gaze shifted to Mia, silent, grateful, but worried. Later that day, Mia went downstairs for breakfast, hoping to enjoy a peaceful morning with Lily. But Clara was already there, sipping black coffee at the Marble Island like she owned the place. "Good morning," Clara said with a smile that felt like a knife. "Morning," Mia replied softly. Clara set down her cup. "I heard Adrian is considering giving you responsibilities. That concerns me." Mia blinked. "I don't understand." "You shouldn't be here," Clara said. "You don't belong in a house like this. Adrian is vulnerable, and vulnerable men make stupid decisions." Mia felt heat rise in her chest. "I'm only here to help Lily." Clara leaned forward. "Yes, that's what worries me. Girls like you always start small." Before Mia could respond, Adrian entered the kitchen. "Clara," he said sharply. "Enough." Clara straightened but didn't hide her irritation. "We need to talk privately." "No," Adrian said. "Anything you need to say can be said here." Clara's jaw tightened. "Fine. You're making a mistake with her." "I disagree," he said simply. Clara's eyes flashed, but she stayed silent. She rose from her seat and walked out of the kitchen with stiff shoulders. When she disappeared up the stairs, Adrian let out a slow breath. "I'm sorry, Mia," he said. "She has too much control in the company. She thinks she can control my home too." Mia shook her head. "You don't have to apologize. I only worry that Lily saw she won't," Adrian said, "because I'll protect her and you." Mia felt her heart tighten, but Clara was far from done. That afternoon, when Mia and Lily were coloring on the living room carpet, Clara walked in again this time with a man wearing a stiff black suit and a polished smile. Lily's grip on Mia's hand tightened instantly. "This," Clara announced loudly, "is Mr. Brewer, Mr. Brewer. He's from the internal security team. He's here to perform a background check." Mia froze. "A background check," she whispered. "For you," Clara said, "household members must be screened for safety, especially people who come from unpredictable environments." Mia felt her cheeks burn with shame. Adrian rushed into the room just as Mr. Brewer opened a folder. "What's going on?" Adrian asked. Clara crossed her arms. "I'm ensuring Lily's safety. This girl's story doesn't add up. We know nothing about her family or her past." Adrian's voice hardened. "I've already approved Mia." "You're emotional," Clara snapped. "You're letting your guard down, and you're opening the door to danger. I won't allow it." Then Mr. Brewer read aloud from his file. "Mia Reyes," he said, flipping a page. "Age 22, lives in a low-income area, works multiple part-time jobs, rent overdue, brother in school, mother ill, father gone, no savings, financial instability." Each word cut into her like glass. Lily began to cry quietly. Adrian stepped forward. "That's enough." But Mr. Brewer continued, and he paused. "There was an incident 3 years ago, a false accusation from her former employer. Theft." Mia's heart slammed. "No," she cried. "That was a lie he tried to make me." Her breath broke. "He wanted me to do things. I refused. He blamed me for stealing his watch. The police cleared me. I did nothing wrong." Clara folded her arms. "Convenient." Adrian's eyes darkened. Mia, look at me, she did through tears. Is this true? He asked softly. She nodded, once trembling. Yes, I swear. A heavy silence filled the room. Lily sobbed and hid behind Mia's arm. Clara stepped closer. You see, this girl is trouble. She will destroy everything. She looked Adrian in the eye. You need to let her go. Mia felt her whole world collapsing. Her job in Adrian's house wasn't just a job. It meant safety for her family, medicine for her mother, a future for Leo. If she lost this, she lost everything. Adrian, Clara, push, be rational. Choose your daughter. Remove the risk. Mia lowered her head, tears falling silently. I can leave, she whispered. If that's what's best for Lily. Lily clung to her tightly. No, no, Mia, don't go. Adrian stared at Mia for a long, long moment. Then he turned slowly toward Clara. I made a mistake, he said. Mia's heart shattered. Clara smirked. Then Adrian took a step toward Mia, placed himself beside her, and said in a clear, strong voice, My mistake was letting you, Clara, think you have any say over the people in my home. Clara's smile fell. Mia stays, Adrian said. And if you can't respect that, then leave. Clara's eyes widened in fury. You're choosing her over me, over your company. I'm choosing what's right, he said simply. Clara turned red with anger. You will regret this, she hissed before storming out of the house. Lily threw her arms around Mia, crying harder. Adrian looked at Mia, hurt in her eyes, pain on her face, fear in her breath. Mia, he said softly, stepping closer. I believe you. The room went quiet. Mia trembled. You do, she whispered. Yes, Adrian said, and I will protect you. From Clara, and from anyone who tries to harm you. Mia's tears fell freely, not from fear now, but from relief so deep it almost hurt. The truth had won, but Clara wasn't gone. Not really. And Mia sensed this was only the beginning of the storm that was coming. That evening, the house felt different, not colder, not warmer, but calmer. Like a storm had passed, leaving the air heavy and quiet. Mia sat with Lily in the reading corner of the living room, gently brushing the little girl's curls as she slowly relaxed in her arms. Are you okay now? Mia whispered. Lily nodded, her small fingers gripping Mia's sleeve. I was scared, Aunt Clara shouted. She never shouts. You don't have to be scared, Mia said softly. Your dad won't let anything happen. And you won't leave. Lily asked, her voice trembling. Mia kissed the top of her head. I'm not going anywhere. Lily finally smiled, leaning against her, slowly drifting towards sleep. When she was fully asleep, Mia lifted her gently and carried her to her room. She tucked her in, placed the stuffed bear beside her, and turned on the small nightlight shaped like a moon. When she turned around, Adrian stood at the doorway, watching quietly. She sleeps better when you're here, he said softly. Mia blushed but nodded. She's a sweet girl. She just needed someone to hold on to. And she chose you, he murmured. They stepped into the hallway. The light was low, warm, almost golden. Adrian leaned lightly on the wall, his injured foot still bandaged, but he looked less tense now. Thank you for staying strong today, he said. Clara's attack was cruel. Mia lowered her gaze. She only said things that are already true. I am poor. My past is messy. My life is complicated. I'm not the kind of person who belongs in this house. Adrian took a step closer, not too close, but close enough that she felt his presence. You're wrong, he said gently. You belong here because Lily needs you, and because you've shown more integrity and strength in a few weeks than most people I've worked with in years. Mia blinked, surprised. I'm not strong. You are, he insisted. You faced lies today. You defended yourself. And even then, you were more worried about Lily than about your own name. A soft silence settled between them. Mia hesitated. Why did Clara react like that? Why does she hate me so much? Adrian sighed, looking out the window. Clara once believed I would put her in charge of everything. My company, my estate, even Lily's care. She thinks anything or anyone who gets close to us threatens her control. And you, Mia asked quietly. What do you believe I believe? She stopped caring about our family a long time ago, he said. All she cares about now is power. Mia tightened her fingers together. I'm sorry I caused trouble. You didn't, he said firmly. Clara exposed herself today, not you. He looked at her for a long, deep moment, eyes softer than she had ever seen. Come with me. There's something I want to show you. He led her outside to the back garden. It was night, but the garden was softly lit by hidden lamps along the stone path. A gentle breeze moved the leaves. The smell of jasmine floated in the air. She had never walked in a place like this. Adrian stopped near a bench under an old tree. Sit with me? She nodded and sat folding her hands neatly in her lap. Adrian sat beside her, not too close, but close enough that she could feel the warmth of him. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Adrian said quietly, I haven't told you everything. Mia looked up. You don't have to. I want to. His voice carried something deep, something heavy. When my wife died, everything fell apart, he said. She was sick for a long time. I kept thinking I could fix everything with money, doctors' treatments, anything. He swallowed. But in the end, I couldn't save her. Mia felt her heart ache for him. I tried to be strong for Lily, he continued, but she saw everything, every doctor visit, every night her mother cried. Every day I pretended to have hope. He touched his chest lightly. Lily stopped speaking after the funeral. She stopped laughing, stopped trusting. Mia whispered, and you blamed yourself. He closed his eyes. Yes. Mia hesitated, then placed a gentle hand on his arm. You're a good father. You stayed. You fought for her. That matters. He looked at her, really looked, and something shifted in his eyes. A warmth, a softness, something like healing. You've brought light back into this house, he said, into Lily's life, and into mine. Mia's breath caught. I don't know how to thank you, he added. You don't need to thank me, she murmured. Helping Lily helps me too. She makes me feel needed. Adrian smiled faintly. You are needed, more than you know. Another silence passed, but it wasn't heavy. It felt warm, like a blanket over cold hands. Mia, he said softly. Yes. He hesitated, then his voice dropped almost a whisper. Don't ever doubt your worth, not because of where you came from, or what you've been through, or what people like Clara say. You're extraordinary. Her breath trembled. No one has ever said that to me, she whispered. Then let me be the first of many. Their eyes met. It wasn't a dramatic moment, not a kiss, not a confession, but it was enough to change the air between them entirely. A soft truth hung in the space between their hearts. Then the sound of footsteps broke the silence. Ethan appeared at the garden door. Sir, he said, there's something you need to see. Adrian stood immediately. What happened? Ethan hesitated, glancing at Mia. It's about Clara. Mia felt a chill. Adrian placed a hand on her back, guiding her gently but protectively. Come, stay close. They walked inside to the living room, where Ethan held a tablet. He pressed play. A video filled the screen. Clara standing in a small office, speaking too loudly. Red with anger. I will not let that girl ruin everything. If Adrian wants war, I'll give him one. I built half of this company. I deserve control, not some nobody from the streets. If I have to expose every secret in that house, I will. Mia's stomach twisted. Adrian's jaw tightened. There's more, Ethan said, sliding to another clip. Clara again, this time whispering to a man in a dark suit. I want everything on the girl, every mistake, every weakness. If she doesn't have any, create some. I want her gone. Mia's legs weakened. She whispered, "She wants to destroy me." Adrian stepped close, placing his hand around hers gently. "No, Mia. She wants power. You're just in her way." "What do we do?" she asked, voice trembling. Adrian squeezed her hand. "We stand together." For the first time, Mia didn't feel like a poor girl in a rich world. She felt like someone who mattered, someone worth fighting for. And Adrian, this powerful, grieving, complicated man, was choosing her side openly, even against someone who had controlled his life for years. The storm wasn't over, but Mia was no longer facing it alone. The next morning rose quiet and soft, as if the world itself wanted to give the Hale house a moment of peace. Mia woke to the gentle sound of birds outside her window. For the first time in years, she didn't feel the weight of fear sitting on her chest. No rent panic, no rushing to a shift, no wondering if she could afford her mother's medicine. Instead, she felt something warm, something steady, hope. When she stepped into the hallway, Lily was already running toward her with sleepy eyes and messy curls. "Mia," she said, laughing as she hugged her knees, "I had a dream you stayed forever." Mia lifted her gently. "Maybe your dream is right." Lily giggled and rested her head on Mia's shoulder. Downstairs, the house smelled like fresh coffee and warm bread. Adrian stood by the table, leaning lightly on his cane, but looking more relaxed than she had ever seen him. His eyes softened the moment he saw Mia and Lily together. "Good morning," he said. "Morning," Mia replied, feeling her cheeks warm. They sat together for breakfast, simple food, quiet laughter, Lily's little stories about dreams and drawings. Adrian watched them both with a calmness he hadn't known since before his wife died. After they finished eating, Adrian spoke gently. "Mia, I have something for you." Her eyebrows lifted. "What is it?" He motioned for her to follow him outside. Lily held Mia's hand and skipped along beside them. The morning air was cool, brushing against their skin like a soft promise. At the far end of the garden stood a small wooden structure. Mia had never seen a tiny house newly painted with flowers planted around the steps. She stopped stunned. "Adrian, what is this?" "It's yours," he said quietly. "A safe place for you and your family. Your mother can stay here when she's well enough. Leo can come too. I want you to feel like you have a home, not just a room." Mia covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. I can't accept something so big." "You can," he said softly, "because this isn't charity. It's my way of saying thank you. You helped Lily find her voice again. You helped me find my strength again. And you showed us what real kindness looks like." Mia's voice trembled. "You changed our lives. I don't even know how to thank you." "You already did," he replied. "You stayed." Lily tugged on Mia's hand. "Can we all live close forever?" Adrian looked at his daughter, then back at Mia. "If you want to," he said gently, "you can stay in our lives. Not just for work, not just for responsibility, but because we care for you very much." Mia's breath caught. She looked at him, this man who had been injured and alone in the street weeks ago, this man who carried grief like a scar, this man who trusted her when no one else did. How she whispered, "How did we come here?" from that moment on the road. "Maybe," Adrian said softly, "fate knows what it's doing." The wind moved lightly through the trees. Lily wrapped her arms around both of them, pulling them into a small, warm embrace. And in that golden morning, standing in a safe place she never thought she'd have with the people who had become her family, Mia felt something open deep in her heart. Love, not loud, not dramatic, but steady, deep, real. A new beginning, a new life, a new home. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change everything. You never know how important your compassion may be to someone who feels alone. Never look down on a stranger. Life turns in unexpected ways. The world becomes better every time someone chooses to help instead of walk away. True strength is not in power or money, but in caring for others. And sometimes the person you save saves you in return. What did you learn from Mia and Adrian's story today? Have you ever helped someone and later realized it mattered more than you knew? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them. And if this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. More emotional stories are coming soon. Don't forget to stay with us for the next one.